Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Arjun Chaudhary. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Thursday, the 21st of May. Pakistan government promises strict probe in fake degree scam. Sri Lanka to have new parliament in September, says President Sirisena. And quake hit Nepal, now faces threat of child trafficking. And now for all the details. Pakistan government has promised a transparent, open and comprehensive inquiry into the multi-million-dollar fake certificate fraud by the country's top IT company. The government is also examining the idea of seeking help of foreign experts to probe the case.
Pakistan Interior Minister Chaudhry Nisar Ali Khan said a 7-member special team from the Federation Investigation Agency will be probing allegations of fraud committed by Exact. He also said that foreign experts could be brought in to examine the computers confiscated during Tuesday's raids at the company offices in Karachi, Rawalpindi and Islamabad. Khan, however, rejected earlier reports that the directors of Exact had been detained and company CEO Shoaib Sheikh's name had been placed on the exit control list. He agreed that the biggest IT scandal in the country has affected the image of Pakistan.
ये एक इतनी हसास रिपोर्ट थी जिसमें पाकिस्तान बतौर मुल्क उसकी नेकनामी भी बड़े क्वेश्चंस उठ रहे थे, तो मैंने ये मुनासिब समझा कि इस पे हमारी जो प्रीमियर सिक्योरिटी एजेंसीज है, इन्वेस्टिगेशन एजेंसी है, उसके सपोर्ट ये काम कर दिया जाए.
Meanwhile, the Federal Board of Revenue has ordered a probe into alleged tax evasions and foreign assets of Exact. The Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan and the Sindh Revenue Board have also served notices to the company asking it to submit tax records within 7 days. Exact, which claims to be Pakistan's top software company, is accused of cheating thousands of customers across the world by selling fake degrees and diploma certificates issued in the name of non-existent online universities. The company, which operates from Karachi, reportedly ran some 370 websites with names resembling internationally acclaimed educational institutions and offered degrees in a varied number of fields.
Even though the Sindh government claimed to have cracked the plotters of the recent attack on Shia Ismailis and the murder of activist Sabeen Mahmood, the arrests have sent shockwaves across Pakistan as most of the accused are well-educated and believed to be liberals.
Sindh Chief Minister Syed Qaim Ali Shah had on Wednesday disclosed the details of the 4 accused arrested in the attack on an Ismaili bus in Karachi that killed 45 people last week. The detainees, who also confessed of murdering human rights activist Sabeen Mahmood, hailed from well-to-do families and are believed to have received high education. The alleged mastermind of the attacks, Saad Aziz, was an MBA graduate from Pakistan's top business school, while another attacker, Mohammad Aswar Ishrat, is an engineering graduate. The third one, Hafiz Nasir, holds a master's degree in Islamic studies from Karachi University. The arrest of Aziz, who also owned a restaurant in Karachi, came as a shock to many of his classmates and teachers who knew him as a normal student who showed no signs of being involved with militants. According to investigators, the group, which was inspired by the Al-Qaeda, has also accepted of an assassination attempt on American academician Deborah Lobo and a number of other attacks on law enforcement agencies. This was one of the rare instances where people with high education were implicated in militancy in the country. Religious training centers run by radical clerics are usually seen as breeding grounds for radicalizing its pupils for jihad. While many see this as an alarming sign of educated youth getting influenced by radical ideology, some believe people like Aziz could have been framed by Karachi police to silence those holding liberal views.
China is planning to expand its influence in Afghanistan through Pakistan, analysts have said. Beijing's rising presence in Pakistan's southwestern Balochistan has already garnered much opposition from the locals. A report.
Pakistan's Minister for Planning and Development Ehsan Iqbal on Wednesday termed the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor a win-win scenario for both the countries, stating that the project will be a game-changer for economic development. But many see this as a move by Beijing to expand its footprint into Afghanistan, which is at a vulnerable transit phase in the light of decreasing NATO troops' presence and the Taliban trying to gain grounds in regions emptied by the foreign forces.
China, for example, is now knocking on the door of assistance in Afghanistan through already done projects like roads to from China to Afghanistan and to mines in Afghanistan and other places that are of interest for China.
Beijing's growing presence in the region in guise of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor has been an area of resent in Balochistan, whose Gwadar port is the starting point for the project. Residents for the southwestern province have for years claimed that the federal government signed the $46 billion project without informing the local administration. Several nationalist leaders have said that the mass migration of Punjabis and Pashtos to Balochistan in the name of infrastructural projects is a conspiracy by Pakistan to demographically re-engineer the insurgency-hit province.
Aim है यही है कि वो slowly चाइनीज़ कंपनियों को वहाँ पर ला रहे हैं कि वो डीप वेल्स के लिए काम करें, तो लोग वो प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं, एहतजाज कर रहे हैं, तो इनका ये है कि लोगों को वहाँ से निकाला जाए, हैरेस करें ताकि लोग यहाँ से माइग्रेट कर जाएं, जो भी कोई बच्चे लोग हैं और जहाँ पर लोग हैं कि जो उनका इंटरेस्ट है वहाँ पर काम करने का, तो वहाँ पर इस तरह की कार्रवाइयाँ करते हैं.
Pakistan had in 2013 handed down the control of the strategically important Gwadar region to a Chinese firm. Bulk of the $250 million that was required to fund the deep water port came from Beijing as a part of its plan to open up an energy and trade corridor from the Persian Gulf across Pakistan to western China.
Sri Lanka is set to have a new parliament by September. President Maithripala Sirisena has said this will happen with the appointment of a constitutional council before the dissolution of the parliament.
President Maithripala Sirisena said a constitutional council, as per the new 19th Amendment of the Constitution, will oversee the works of various arms of the state in the interim period. Although the date of the parliament dissolution has not been declared, speculation is rife that it will happen next month. September is being considered to give the Election Commission the required 7 to 9 weeks to prepare. Political parties are currently discussing on new electoral system for parliamentary polls. President Sirisena, soon after assuming power in January, had called for parliamentary elections 2 years before its schedule in an attempt to purge the government of his predecessor Mahinda Rajapaksa's appointees, whom he accused of cronyism and nepotism.
An anti-terrorism court in Pakistan on Thursday indicted 106 people for mob lynching of a Christian couple accused of blasphemy. Those accused by the Lahore court include the employer and 3 clerics who made provocative speech against the couple after they were blamed for burning pages of the Quran. Shama and Shahzad, who used to work in a kin, were beaten to death and later their bodies were burned by a mob of nearly 400 people, accusing the Christian couple of blasphemy in November last year. Blasphemy is a hugely sensitive issue in Pakistan, with even unproven allegations often prompting mob violence. Nepal is facing a high risk of child trafficking. After the 2 major earthquakes, several non-governmentals have warned. The catastrophe left many children orphaned and homeless, making them vulnerable to the menace. A report.
Nepal continues to face a chaos-like situation even nearly a month after it was struck by the first earthquake. After putting the country into ruins and causing trauma among its residents, the disasters have posed another threat. Children, mostly those who are homeless, are now increasingly becoming susceptible to traffickers. Keeping children safe has become a major challenge in Nepal.
Nepal has got a huge problem of child trafficking, and our concerns is that in a disaster kind of setting, children are quite vulnerable to being trafficked, and they are quite vulnerable at the moment, and that's why protection of children is a huge priority.
According to the United Nations Office for Drugs and Crime, South Asia is the fastest growing and second largest region for human trafficking in the world after East Asia. Over 150,000 people are believed to be trafficked within the region every year. Survivors in Nepal said they are now living in fear vis-a-vis the safety of their children.
इस बात को तो डर है, छोटे बच्चे को कहीं भेजने के लिए डर लगता है, कहीं मेरा बच्चा फिर तो ना आ जाए, फिर जब हमारे पास ना आए, बाहर से कहीं ले जाए। आज बच्चा है, भूखा होता है, कुछ दे दे तो खाने के लिए बेटा भी होती है बच्चे लोग को, कुछ मिले तो जाएगा, इसलिए बहुत डर है इस बात का।
Hundreds of children have been rendered homeless in the wake of twin earthquakes. Many have lost parents with no one to look after them. Several volunteers have now focused on educating vulnerable children and keeping them together in groups. They are offering sports and dance classes to help children overcome the trauma of the two quakes. UN agencies estimate at least 3 million people in Nepal will need tents, water, food and medicines over the next 3 months.
They were their crankiest best in the latest, and now they're reaping the fruits of the labor. Take a look at who all came to mark the success of this season's biggest hit.
A snarling father, a yelling daughter and a roaring household. Piku, which gave a contemporary dimension to a father-daughter relationship, has become the flavor of the season. Lead actors Amitabh Bachchan, Deepika Padukone and Irfan Khan couldn't gush any less by the reception of the movie at the theatres. Director Shujit Sarkar, who came with his close friend and actor John Ibrahim, was all smiles too. Other Tinseltown celebs including Sophie Chaudhary, Sajid Khan, Mukesh Bhatt and Sunidhi Chauhan also joined in.
I think movies are good or bad, not women or male oriented. You're either a good movie or not good movie. So good movies will always work, will always find an audience, and the best publicity is always word of mouth.
If you have not seen the movie, shame on you. This is the film which has rocked the nation. Everybody talks about the darling called Piku. She is the sweetheart of the town. Go and see her and love her.
After collecting $2.3 million in its second weekend, Piku has earned $9.6 million at the domestic box office. It is also keeping cash registers ringing overseas with $4.3 million till Wednesday. The cast of the film said they were ecstatic at the audience's response.
I really did not expect for the audience to start taking ownership of the film. And that's what I've been saying. I feel like the film is beyond even our control now, because the audience, whatever promotion, publicity is happening, the audience is doing, you know. And I think that it's an extremely overwhelming feeling.
Expect नहीं किया था, but मैं हमेशा से बहुत excited था इस टीम के साथ काम करने के लिए, इस कहानी पे काम करने के लिए, और जितना excited था उससे ज़्यादा मुझे इस फिल्म ने during the making मुझे खुशी दी है इस फिल्म।
दादू बहुत देर से आँख बंद किए हुए बैठे।
चुप करके बैठ।
The film is a quirky take on a deeply layered relationship between widower Bhaskar Banerjee and his daughter Piku. Caught between the two is Rana, who as the baffled outsider in the course of a road trip gives both of them perspectives that promise to deliver them from the stalemate they are trapped in.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories, once again, Pakistan government promises strict probe in fake degree scam. Sri Lanka to have new parliament in September, says President Sirisena. And quake hit Nepal now faces threat of child trafficking. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.